All right, Shalom, brothers and sisters out there. All right, Shalom, brothers and sisters out there. So we're gonna get into this lesson. Let's share it here. Okay, hold up. All right. All right, so here we go. Gonna go off into another lesson here. Going, as you can see the title of it. Let me just go ahead and show you from the beginning. This individual right here, who goes by the name of Pastor Ron. What is it? Ron Brown? No, I'm sorry, Pastor Ron Wright. Right? He did a video entitled the Black Hebrew Israelites purposely leave out verses that don't fit their narrative. Okay. Another wounded, hurt, naked faced, bald headed Christian who's ignorant of the scriptures. They're mad again. All right. And they're gonna stay mad because we killing you. We killing you in the spirit. We tearing your ass up in the scriptures, and there's nothing you can do about it. Christianity is old. It's finished. So all praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. And I actually had to change the title and shorten it a little bit to get all that to fit. Tonight's title, the lesson of tonight's title is Response. The Hebrew Israelites, because we don't call ourselves black. I started to put exactly what he put, but in all good conscience, I can't put that shit. We don't call ourselves black Hebrew Israelites. They do that shit on purpose anyway. You bald-headed, bald-faced nigga coon preachers out there, man, the Most High is going to kill you, man. So the title is The Hebrew Israelites Purposely Leave Out Verses. And then I put hashtag Pastor Ron Wright. And it is a response. So what we're going to do, we're going to play this guy's video, but we're not going to play it first. You know, we're going to eventually get around to it. It's only like, and that's another thing these Christians do is irritating. They make these stupidly short videos, you know, thinking that, you know, just by reading a couple of scriptures, which they misinterpret them, they break them down wrong, they misapply them, reading a couple of scriptures here and there, they act like they, okay, my work here is done. You didn't prove nothing, man. You don't understand the Bible. And we're going to get into this guy a little bit, but before we do that, we're going to open up with a couple of scriptures here. Right. The brother said it. No edification in them too. No edification in their videos whatsoever. They don't. And we saw it from watching the Boston Brothers. You know, I re-uploaded that video myself and retitled it. You can tell by the way that these people, when they receive it, they come up bothering us. And when we try to go into something, they don't want to stand there and listen to us go into the scriptures, which these things must be done. You got to go into the Bible and find out what's being said. You can't read one or two things and then just act like you're going to understand it. Anyway, we're going to start here in Zechariah chapter 8. And you know what? Salakia, let's actually go and let's read Matthew first. And these Christians, they're really conniving. That's how you know that they can't really defeat us in the scriptures, but hoping that we're going to just agree with what they say and how they bring the scriptures out. And we're not. We're never going to agree with you because you're wrong, man. You being outclassed in the scriptures, you being shown up, and you were just wrong. You're trying to say these damn devils, and it's not going to work. They don't have salvation. This is Matthew chapter 5. And I just read verse 10. It says, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Right? And this is really going into the Israelites. It ain't talking about just anybody on the planet. When Yahushua was on the scene, his gospel, his preaching was to the Israelites. And that's what these Christians can't really get. You get tired of going over the same stuff with them. Everything is always the Gentiles and the New Testament and this and that. There's so much more to the Bible other than the letters of Paul. Anyway, verse 11, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely. That's the key, falsely, for my sake. And that's what they're doing. These Christians, when they say things about us, they're usually wrong. And I know that they telling lies. They wrong. This one guy said all we do is cuss people out. And that's a damn lie. They know all we do is cuss people out, which I proved him wrong. Ty Jackson. Ty Jackson was one that stepped up. He got crushed and beat down. He's just in error, man. Now you got this guy, Pastor Ron Wright, which Elder Hawad sent me this video early one day last week, and then a few brothers have responded. You know, a few brothers responded to it. I'm just now getting around to it, but hey, eventually we'll make our rounds with these stupid Christians because they're really insignificant at the end of the day. But we do it for the gospel's sake. So again, it says, "Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." They're telling lies on us, so we're going to prove that. "Rejoice and be glad, for great is your reward." Salakia, rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. And we notice the reason why they do it, because they hate the Most High. It's for the Lord's name's sake that they do this, and we endure it. Right? And these are always Israelites most of the time. The Christians do it. Vocab Malone does it, but that's what he's going to do. He's an Edomite. But if you notice, every time when somebody come against the truth, when they're like Vocab Malone, what does he do? He goes and gets Israelites, people who are Israelites by nationality, that whether they celebrate, whether they acknowledge it or not, he goes and gets Jake to go up against us, because nobody's going to believe the damn devil, man. So this is Zechariah chapter 8. In verse 16, it says, "These are the things that ye shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates." You're supposed to tell the truth. If you say you're a person of the Lord, you're supposed to deal in truth. All your work's supposed to be truth. If you say make a statement about somebody, it needs to be true. They make too many statements about us that are not true. It says, "And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath. For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord." So the Most High hates liars, man. And we know that's in the scriptures too, right? All liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone. Now you can be a liar outright and know you're telling lies, but you can also be a liar because you're not well studied. You hadn't looked into things properly. And that's another thing with these Christians. They believe because they watch a few videos and see some sound bites that they're ready to go up against us. And you come out on the highways and we make you look like fools. You put up videos saying stuff about us, and we go, why is it that when they say something about us and we disprove what they're saying, they don't ever come back and say, you know what, you guys were right, you disprove what I said? They just come back with another false allegation or another false teaching, just because they're not honest. They're not honest people. Now I'm gonna get ready to go and bring this dude video up. Before I do it, I'll read a few scriptures off the comment board, but we're gonna try to keep this more to the point. Okay, just hold tight here. Let's see. What we actually do, we'll do this screen right here. Let's hold on, brothers. Yeah, we'll do that screen for now. So let's read a few of these off the comment board. This is just hold tight. This is Amawan Ibad. Luke 21:12. It says, "But before all these they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings, rulers, for my sake." Right? And that happened during the time where, the disciples was in Yahushua, even. They was getting grabbed up. Paul went through it. The other disciples and apostles went through it. And we believe that we'll be going through it as well. Now it says, "And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom with which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist." And that's what you see happening, man. Okay? You see that happening. Our adversaries are not able to gainsay nor resist his truth. They may come out with their first initial video, but after that, they lose their steam. Now, this is Tazakai Yahweh 18. "If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you." So these people of this world, they hate us. The Christians are a part of this world. If you was asked this guy right here, about America, he said, God bless America. That's what he would say. He's an idiot, empty headed moron. GMS Vegas, Proverbs 12:19. The lip of established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. And I can hardly wait to show you. And this dude, if you're gonna say something about somebody, you need at least need to be well studied enough to the point where you can validate what you're saying. Okay. This is Jim S. Tazakaya Howard, which this guy, he could have just did a search and found out. He said we don't go into certain verses. Everything that he says, we got videos on it. Jim S. Tazakaya Howard. John 15:20. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. And these people don't know Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. They don't know him. They know so-called, they'll say Yahweh. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now have they no cloak for their sin. And you Israelites like Ron Wright, Ty Jackson, this big head nigga, Justin Francis, and these other people that wrote with Vocab Malone, you don't have a cloak for your sins because you're going against the very gospel that was sent so you could repent. We sent to call you back from worshiping idols. You worship false Jesus, man. Well, white Jesus, excuse me. Same brother, John 15:23. He that hated me hated my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which no other man did, they had not had sin, but now they have Salakia. They had not had sin, but now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this cometh to pass that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law. They hated me without a cause. And really, you hate the Hebrew Israelites without a cause, but you believe you got a cause to do it, but you just really just jealous. Most of you Christians are just jealous because we're breaking down things that have been kept secret or have been mysteries from the foundation of the earth, and we're finally able to go through it and do it because of the Spirit of the Lord. We are the people of the Lord, and you mad because you can't do it. You Christians so damn jealous. The Hebrews like they ugly, they stink, they mama's fat. Like that one guy, Gomer Powell. What was that dude named? Pastor, was it Tyler Baker? He's saying all kind of stuff about us that's not even true. You idiots. This is Parathon Banya Howard, Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, is because there is no light in them. And I don't know anybody stupider than Christians who stupidly believe you can understand a book reading half of it. They go right to the New Testament and think they're going to understand. They want to completely exclude the Old Testament. You can't do it like that. And they want to skip over, which we saw with the and also too, there was a Christian that came up to the GMS Vegas Brothers camp too. I actually was watching that this morning, and the Most High did a miraculous work by sending that other derelict to drive that nigga, that white nigga out of there, man. And that dude was really, man, he was getting me heated. I wanted to punch that guy, man. But I wasn't there. But beautifully, it's like the Elder Karate said in his lesson, though. His follow up that he did on that is that they want to skip over a whole damn captivity. They want to skip over a whole part of history, an empty slot in history. I think that's how he phrased it. The Greek captivity, that's when it became Hellenized. You can't skip over that and act like it never. Oh well, like when the scriptures talk about the Jews and the Greeks, speaking of Romans and these different names, they're all Israelites. The Canaanite, the woman of Canaan, rather, these different things are coming out because the Most High is pruning his flower, man, for lack of better words. He's getting it ready because Israelites are coming from all over the earth. But we're gonna get to it. Let's just hurry up and read a few more of these and then bring the video up. This is GMS Vegas, Jeremiah 9:4. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and put ye Salaki, and trust ye not in any brother. And this dude is an Israelite, but yet he don't want his heritage. He'd rather be black. He'd rather be an American who's coming in on the coattails of a people that's not even his people. He'd rather go on believing that the people over Israel now come in, he get grafted in, and he going off on grafted in too. For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. and they will deceive, not speak the truth. This dude ain't speaking truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies and weary themselves to commit iniquity. And this dude is going against the spirit of the Lord, committing iniquity. Okay, committing iniquity. So I want to go ahead and get to it. You brothers got some great scripts, all of you beautiful brothers. But I want to get to this video, and then we'll get more scripts. So let me set this thing up, and I'm actually gonna put the link on the comment board for those that want to get it. And because I'm only gonna touch on certain stuff. I'm not gonna go into the whole thing, everything he talked about. I mean, it's only 4 minutes and 32 seconds long. It's not a real long video. Again, the title is "The Black Hebrew Israelites Purposely Leave Out Verses That Don't Fit Their Narrative." Now, he's accusing us of trying to make the Bible say what we wanted to say. Is that possible? Can we make it say what we wanted to say? No. It's just that he can't get it, and they're being defeated, and they're hurt. All right, so this is a link to the video. For those that want to go there for easy access, you can go there and rip him a new one yourself. All right, but let's play this guy's video here. Check it out. Let's go back a little bit.
God bless you guys. Real quick word from Matthew chapter 8, verses 8 through 12. And I'm going to show you guys how the black Hebrew Israelites, they don't misinterpret the Bible. They purposely leave things out to fit their narrative. They have a narrative. And so anything in the Bible that doesn't fit their narrative, they purposely leave that out. Peter said that they twist the Bible, they twist the scriptures to their own destruction. We should pray for these people because God is going to deal with them for messing with his word and taking away and adding to his word. Matthew chapter 8, verses 8 through 12. This is the centurion servant being healed, and he told you.
Now, again, what these people do, they come from the premise like we're the worst thing ever happened. The white man done all this shit. He never mind all that. It's us. We're the problem with the whole world. See, we're the problem with the whole world. A poor ass people with no wealth, no place to call home of our own, in this system, but we're the problem.
Chapter 8, verses 8 through 12. This is the centurion servant being healed, and he told Jesus said, I will come to your house. And this is what the centurion said to Jesus. In verse 8, he says, the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man of authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled. Now, this centurion, this is a Roman centurion. Jesus marveled, verse 10, and said to them that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. So when in Matthew chapter 15, when Jesus says that he's come to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, that's true. He came to them. He was their Messiah. But John 1:12 says he came to his own, and his own received him not. But to as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them which believe on his name, which were born, verse 13, which were born not of blood. It's not about skin. It's not about your physical lineage. It's not about what tribe you come from. Not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of.
Now he put that in there. He said it's not about the lineage. Just because it says, there's another scripture that says he is not a Jew, is one outwardly. It ain't always talking about that the lineage doesn't matter. That's all the Most High deals with, the lineage. We all know that. We all know the Most High deal with lineage. He deals with his people. But see, this is a Christian ninny who's trying hard to fit the white. They really just worry about the white man. And it was also another guy that came up on the brothers from DC, and he was asking about the white people. What about the white people? And you niggas got to get together, man.
God, it's about being born again. Anybody who is born again can be born, believes Jesus Christ as their savior, will be accepted into the kingdom. Now watch what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 8, that you won't hear him read this. They'll leave this out. He says, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Verse 11, watch what Jesus says. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. He's talking about many different nations. He's not
Never mind leaving out the fact that the Israelites were scattered north, south, east, and west. That's really what it's speaking of. But he thinks it means people gonna come from all over the earth who have never been, part of the covenant.
see the black Hebrew Israelites, they won't talk about this verse where it specifically says that the children of the kingdom, the Jews, the 12 tribes, he says this in verse 12. He says, but the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Why won't the children of the kingdom make it in? Because they rejected their Messiah.
Now he just said plainly the children of the kingdom will not make it. He said the Jews, the Israelites, are not gonna make it. He clearly said that. Listen further.
Paul says, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power of God to salvation to the Jew first, and then to the Gentile. To the Jew first, because he came to them. He was their Messiah. That's why he says, I am sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And Jesus and the woman said, that's true, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table, meaning that whatever the Jews didn't want, the Gentiles were grafted in by faith. And so with the
He doesn't even understand grafted in, which we'll deal with that. It's only one chapter that deals with grafted in, and it wasn't talking about the other nations.
black Hebrew Israelites do, they don't misinterpret the scripture. They purposely leave out scriptures. It clearly says that the children of the kingdom shall be thrust out. This kingdom is going to be given to another, and those people are the Gentiles who are not Jews. And so what they do is they twist the Bible because they have a political agenda, much like the KKK. They have a political.
Oh, we got a political agenda. Well, who will we be affiliated with? What's our affiliation? What people? Since if you ask this guy, he would say America is God bless America. So who will be yoked up with politically? Where do we get this money and this funding from that we have an agenda? And by the way, he compares us to the KKK. That's a goddamn deceitful, man. Who have we killed? Who have we hung? Who do we firebomb? What town did we go to and take people out of the house in the middle of the night and hang them? When do we cover our faces up? We coming out boldly on the streets and killing you, man. That's why you stand up at night. You can't sleep at night. Look at this guy, Freddie Jackson looking nigga.
Political agenda, and they make the Bible say what they wanted to say. They preach skin color, and they preach hate, and they preach dominance. And so,
do we preach skin color, brothers? By a show. Your brothers on the comment board. Do we preach skin color? They say we preach hate. We don't preach hate. The Bible speaks of the hatred that the Most High has for Esau, Edom, and the other nations, and we bring that out. But we don't just preach hate. We preach love. We're a love group. We're not a hate group. And do we preach dominance? Yeah, because in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to dominate all the nations. That's true. Yep.
So the children of the kingdom will be thrust out because of their lack of faith, but the Gentiles who believe in Jesus Christ will be grafted into the kingdom. God bless you guys.
How they gonna be grafted into the kingdom? Now he said that the Jews wasn't gonna make it. The Jews are not gonna make it. Right now, first let's deal with it. We'll probably play it again another time or two. Just hold on here, brothers. Yeah, we'll probably play it again another time or two. There's certain points I wanted to address. First, I wanted to show how he lies. He said that when it comes to scriptures like 1 John or it's 2 John 1 and 10, 1 and 11, he said we purposely leave those things out. Okay, so let's show you something. I got it here. Right, this right here. I looked it up. Now, a lot of our videos don't show up. So he's saying that certain things we won't address, we leave scriptures out. This is going to prove him a liar. So I typed it in, GMS, he came into his own received him not, right? Here's a video from the brothers in Suriname, GMS Suriname, Hobmoth, 3 years ago. He came to his own received him not. Now, I myself did a video on that very chapter, on that very verse. It no longer exists. I searched for high and low, I couldn't find it. So it no longer exists. So, it is what it is, right? Here's another one, GMS Mayaka Yahawada, a year ago. He came into his own, and his own received him not. Jim Suriname, he came to his own received him not. This is a brother re-uploaded a video from Apostle Gabar, right? Same title. He came into his own received him not. This is the brother Anaf Ba Ayash from GMS Indianapolis. GMS, get your mind right. His own received him not. I thought we didn't address that. We leaving stuff out to fit our narrative, but then we do videos about it. Let's show you. Here's one from Apostle Gabar, and I just showed it, but I want to show it. It's a recent video, right? Let's go to it right here. This is from one of the head apostles. Okay. Elder Apostle Gabar. I'll give you the link to it. It was done. I can't see when it was done. It doesn't show it. But it was uploaded probably back in December, if I'm not mistaken. I'll give you the link to it. It says he came into his own, and his own received him not. Because Vocab Malone tried to say the same shit. This is old, man. This is easy work. Christians always trying to bring up scriptures like we trying to avoid scriptures. No, it's stumbling blocks under you. And we've explained it 1,000 times. Like I said, I did a lesson my own self on it. And Christians use scriptures like that because they think that they got, we got him. He came to his own received it not. Another one that they use is what this guy said. He said that the children of the kingdom shall be thrust out, right? And another nation bearing the fruits thereof, right? Yeah, they love to say that. Christians use that scripture to say all Israel rejected Yahweh Shai. Now, all Israel didn't reject him. It tells you in the scripture that you had women that followed him, right? You had men that followed him, and then you had a lot of Israelites. Israelites were scattered already, have already been dispersed, right? He came to his own received him not. First and foremost, is talking about his family. He even said that, and Apostle Gabar breaks it down. Did I give you the link? Yeah, I gave the link out. Apostle Gabar breaks that down. Damn, I lost my train of thought real quick. What I was just saying. But anyway, we're gonna get scriptures here, and he doesn't understand the demographic, the Israelites being scattered into the four corners of the earth. The children of the kingdom that's being thrust out is the same thing as he came to his own received not. On some level it is. Because who did he come to first? He came to the Israelites in the Holy Land. So, at the time, what happened to us? We got cast out. We got scattered into all nations of the earth. But also, too, it was making way for who? For the Gentiles, Israelite foreigners. That's all this ever been about. And these Christians don't get it. Yeah, Donald Jones is a preacher now. Hey, Shalom, brother. Yep, yeah, and it's the same tactic with these Christians. So we already proved him wrong that he was lying because our apostles covered it and we covered it ourselves. We've done many lessons on it. Okay. Let's see here, man. Yeah, and he said the Jews ain't gonna make it, but then in the end, he said that the Gentiles gonna be grafted into the kingdom. Well, what Israelites gonna be? He said that Israelites wasn't gonna make it. Let's go real quick. Let me bring this up. Just hold on, brothers. So much stuff, there's so many different ways we could go into a lesson with this, but I'm gonna try to keep it in one specific area because showing now he started off with the Roman centurion, which he doesn't even understand that on the read here. Hold on, bro. Let's go to Romans 11. Right. And then I hit the comment board. Now this is right here. Even Esau knows that. The people that put together this publication, this blue letter Bible, they understand. It says Israel is not cast away. So that just that alone, just this verse, Romans 11:1. I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people? The Most High forbid, for I also am an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So what the hell this guy talking about? He doesn't understand the scriptures. This right here kills you all the way on both levels. He came to his own received it not. Well, Paul was an Israelite. This is written after, or this is after the Lord came on the scene in John. The Most High hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What ye not what the scripture saith of Elias, how he maketh intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and dig down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so, then at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. That's all about Israel. I thought he said this was going not going right. The Most High is only dealing with the remnant this time around. This really was the overall point. Let's get real quick here. This is Jim S. Vegas sit downs, John 10:41. And many resorted unto him and said, John, no miracle, but all things that John spake of this man were true, and many believed on him there. See, Yahweh Shah, man. I want to also read Amawan Abad, John 8:30. As he spake these words, many believed on him. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed. That's two scriptures showing you that there were many of the Jews that believed on him. What the hell this guy talking about, man? He has no idea. Now at the bottom, John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. This is Brother Yahweh Connor. John 20:29. Yahushua saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. And all the disciples were Israelites. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's speaking of. He just, you do that, you lie like that when you hurt and you wounded. You lie like that when you hurt and you're wounded. So let's go, because he was talking about the Roman centurion, right? Let's go back. Let's play his video again to a certain point where he goes into the Roman centurion thing. And then we'll break away from that because he doesn't understand, which most people on the earth don't really get. They don't understand the Bible, period, man. They see a word in the Bible and they just run with it. They think the word Roman, if a person is a Roman, they think that means he's an Edomite. This is what Jake doing. They think it means he's an Edomite. But you have no idea about that there were Romans, there were Israelites that were Roman citizens. Why does he not get that? Why do these people don't get it? Because they're not, they can't receive the spirit of truth. This is GMS in the Truth, Orlando. John 1:47. Yahushua saw Nathanael coming to him and saith of him, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile. See it? It's all over the Bible. All over the Bible. This is Parathon Ban Yahweh, 1 Corinthians 12:2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away into these dumb idols, even as ye were led. And I want to read something. That brother made me get the scripture here. See, these people don't understand the whole demographic with Gentiles. The ones pertaining to salvation are the Israelites. Hold on, brothers. It's just as simple as this. Let's read it. All right, this is Romans chapter 2. And 25. It says, for circumcision verily profiteth, if thou keep the law. But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision. This is what happened. Israelites were doing things that were against the law. They was living in other lands, and they were being called uncircumcised. Or if they had grew up in lands where they hadn't been circumcised. And it's just like with us now. If we go back into the world, our circumcision becomes uncircumcision. It says in Ezekiel, all our righteousness which we have done will not be remembered. For circumcision verily profiteth, if thou keep the law. But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision. Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? When we wake up to the truth, right, and we start keeping the law, then we're no longer Gentiles. We Israelites. It starts up here, as a matter of fact, talking about the Israelites. But that's just a small tidbit. It's a bunch of scripture that you have to understand. You got to understand, this thing is deep. But it ain't so deep that people can't get it. It's just too deep for a stupid Christian, especially when you're trying to fight against your own heritage. You ain't gonna see it because you're all the stumbling block scriptures is catching these Christian jakes because they learned the way Esau. Esau came with cunningly devised fables and these different doctrines, and these jakes and took it on to it, man. And they see us teaching the real truth. They despise the shit out of us. This dude despises us. Look at him. He's bitter. He is bitter. He sees us out there cutting the Edomites. He get, oh, I hate them niggas. Dude, you hurt and you losing. Hashtag losing. Let's listen to this again.
Hallelujah. God bless you guys. Real quick word from Matthew chapter 8, verses 8 through 12. And I'm going to show you guys how the black Hebrew Israelites, they don't misinterpret the Bible. They purposely leave things out to fit their narrative. They have a
So then when we interpret the Bible, we're correct. He said we don't misinterpret it. We just leave stuff out, which he's lying on both accounts, by the way. You know, because we don't leave things out of the Bible. Okay? We do interpret it correctly, but we don't leave things out.
Narrative. And so anything in the Bible that doesn't fit their narrative, they purposely leave that out. Peter said,
now we just proved that he's lying about that.
That they twist the Bible, they twist the scriptures to their own destruction. You know, we should pray for these people because God is going to deal with them for messing with his word and taking away and adding to his word. Matthew chapter 8, verses 8.
So he says that we take away and we add to the Most High's word, but the sinner's prayer, which Christianity pushes, is not in the Bible. They're adding that. He don't have a problem with that. The rapture is not in the Bible, and Christians teach it. Pre-tribulation rapture. The word rapture is not even in the Bible, but they teach it. But he doesn't have a problem with that. It was like the Balfour Declaration is not in the Bible, but the Christians push it, and they sponsored it basically. He didn't have a problem with that. He got a problem with us.
8 through 12. This is the centurion.
Christmas is not in the Bible. Easter is not in the Bible. Of course, they changed the word, right? It should say Pesach, but it says Easter, but that holiday ain't in the scriptures. He got no problem with that. And they're going to be celebrating it coming up soon. No problem with those things, but us, he has a problem with.
Servant being healed, and he told Jesus said, I will come to your house. And this is what the centurion said to Jesus. In verse 8, he says, the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled. Now, this centurion, this is a Roman centurion. Jesus marveled, verse 10, and said to them that follow, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. So when in Matthew chapter 15, when Jesus says that he's come to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, that's true. He came to them. He was their Messiah. But John 1:12 says he came to his own, and his own received or not. But
now we just showed you and gave out links on the comment board to where we did videos addressing that. Okay. And like I said, I did a video of my own self. Now I want to deal with this thing with the Romans because he's stumped by the fact that a Roman centurion, the Lord was dealing with a guy who he perceives, he thinks the guy was a literal Roman, an Edomite. And all these Edomite loving jakes, they act like that. But he doesn't even understand that the book of Romans, who was it written to? It was written to Israelites. There was all types of Romans, people that living in the Roman Empire, or living in Rome, should I say, right? Living all in Italy, different parts of Rome, different parts of living in different parts of Italy, should I say? Okay. And Rome is the main place. So you had Israelites all of Cyprus, Venice, as we know, Acts chapter 2. Let's just go to it. It says the gospel exalted, Romans 1. Is the book of Romans written to the Edomites, Romans? No, it's written to Israelites dwelling among the Romans, which would be what? Gentiles, just like Ephesians and Corinthians, right? And these different books, Philippians and whatnot. They were all Israelites, the Thessalonians. Israelites dwelling among those people in those lands, which Christians they never acknowledge that. This is Romans 1, verse 1. It says, Paul, a servant of Yahushua HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, separated into the gospel of the Most High. right? Let's jump down and see who it's written to. This is who it's addressed to. It says, verse 7, to all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints. Who is this? Is this the regular Romans? No, it's to the Israelites dwelling among the Romans. To all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints. Now we know that the Most High don't love Esau, right? Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So how the hell is it to the Romans? It's not to the Romans. It's to the Israelites being called Romans because they've been brought up in that area, or they dwell among them. So all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from the Most High, our Father and the Lord, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. So to find out who this is to, you only need to find out who the saints are. That's all you need to do. Let's go to Psalms 50. We're going to go to Psalms 50. And it tells you who the saints are. The saints ain't just some word you just throw out there and anybody, it can apply to anybody. No, it's a specific people. This is Psalm 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice? The Israelites. He tells you even here, verse 7, hear, O my people Israel, and I will speak. O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am the Most High, even thy God, right? You get down here. Offer unto the Most High thanksgiving and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. Who's that to? That's to the Israelites. But unto the wicked, who's the wicked? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what is thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? And it goes on to explain wonderfully. It's talking about another group of people. But the point being, the saints are the Israelites, right? Let's also get Psalms. Is it 148? When I see that comment board rolling, I ain't gonna be able to go there and read all the brother scriptures. Y'all killing it. This is Psalms 148, verse 14. It says, he also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. Now, Vocab Malone, one time when somebody read this to him, he says, see, it says, even of the children of Israel. The saints are not the Israelites. Well, it says right here, a people nearer to him, praise ye the Lord. So it's only one group of people being spoken of. The saints are the children of Israel. That's who it is, man. That's who it is. So you have to understand that when you're reading the scripture that Romans, the book of Romans was written to the Israelites. That's who it's to. Now, also, you have to realize that Paul himself, he said in Romans 11 that he was an Israelite, did he not? But he also says that he's a Roman. Let's go to it. And I see the elder brother had, put it up too. So first, now in Romans 11, Paul says that he's an Israelite, right? Why would he describe himself as a Roman? Because he was both. He was a Roman citizen, but he was an Israelite by lineage. This is Acts 22:24. The chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? So Paul says he's a Roman right here. And we know that there were centurions, people in the Roman military that were also Israelites, these same Romans that Paul went to, that that the book was written to, the book of Romans, which that church in Rome was made up of Israelites. It wasn't just Romans. How the hell the Lord gonna, the Yahweh Shai had just been crucified not that long back. How the hell Paul gonna come on the scene now and start taking up with the very people that crucified the Lord, man? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. You can't ignore that. He's being called a Roman, but we know, let's just go back to it before we even move on. Let's go back to Romans 11. Paul is not in a crazy state of mind. He's in his right mind. Romans 11:1. I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people? The Most High forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So you have to understand and know that you can be called of another nation and still be an Israelite, just like we are called Americans. You got brothers that's British and these different names, Holland. You are Dutch, but you still your seed goes back to the people you come from, no matter where you live, no matter where you were raised, where you were brought up. Where do you come from? What does your seed go back to? That's what these Christians are missing. So when they see scriptures like Yahushua dealing with a Roman centurion or dealing with a Syrophoenician woman, or a woman of Canaan. They can't get it. Ethiopian eunuch. All these people are Israelites, man, but they just don't get that. They don't understand the scriptures because they're leaving out the diaspora. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to teach the scriptures without dealing with the diaspora, and it's impossible. This is let's read 26 again. When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, "Take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman." You know what? Let's look it up and see what they say. Let's see what they say for a Roman.
Strong's G 4514. Chromios.
Romias, a resident of the city of Rome, a Roman citizen. That's all it says. It doesn't say, a Roman by descent of blood. It says a resident of the city of Rome, a Roman citizen. That's it. That's all it is. That's what in Paul's case, that's what it was. See, for a note on Roman citizenship. He was just a Roman citizen, but by blood, he was an Israelite. He is an Israelite. And without that understanding, you're going to be tripping. That's why the scriptures talk about it neither Jew nor Greek for that same reason. Our people were dwelling among those Greeks and being called Greeks, but also too, Hellenized and going into that whole ordeal. Now, verse 27 says, Then the chief captain came and said unto him, Tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, Yeah. He's a Roman, but he's an Israelite. And it's just as simple as that. That's easy shit, man. That's Hebrew Israelite 101, which the Christians ain't even on that level. They're on a primitive level. They don't understand. They don't understand the scriptures. And this guy's no exception to that. This is a great script. Arya Kayal, Romans 9:7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham. Salakia. Let me start up. Oh, you know what the brother got? I actually got Romans, but I'm gonna read verse. Yeah, I'll start at verse 7. I actually want to read that 1 through 4 myself. It says, Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all called children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. They ignore that over and over. They love to talk about the covenant with Abraham. Yeah, but Abraham, it went from him to who else? To Isaac, then to Jacob. Jacob is the chosen. That is, they which are the children of the flesh are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. And that was dealing with Ishmael and Isaac, right? And Isaac was the chosen, not Ishmael. Why you don't never see Jake arguing? Well, Ishmael, he one of Abraham's sons too. You don't see Jake doing that. They're arguing for these devils, man. But it ain't gonna matter. Brother Yahweh in Hebrews 11:8, and of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That's all it is. It's just Isaac and Jacob. So let's go. Let's go to Romans 9 now. Let's just go ahead and read that. You can't turn around and make like this doesn't exist. Christians will you actually read this, they'll shrink in size and then turn right around and say that it doesn't mean what it says. Romans 9 verse 1. I say the truth in the anointed, I lie not. My conscience also bear me witness in the Holy Spirit that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I wish that myself were accursed from the anointed, for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh. Now, this dude just got finished talking about it. Ain't got nothing to do with your lineage. Why is this written? He doesn't understand the scripture that he was speaking of. Because first, before you were Israelite by, before you Israelite by faith, you must first be Israelite by lineage. You can't just convert and become an Israelite, a spiritual Israelite. It's all about the flesh. It's all about the lineage, should I say. And we ain't talking about skin color. We talking about the lineage, the seed. You could be so-called white and still be Israelite. We ain't talking about skin color, right? He is not a Jew that is one outwardly but one inwardly, dealing with the clothing and also how you look. It's about your seed. For I wish that myself were accursed from the anointing for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. So yeah, you do have to be an Israelite, and it gives you all the things that are pertain to the Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, right? You can't be adopted into the covenant. You can't be adopted into the family of Israel if you're not an Israelite. And the glory and the covenants. What's the covenants? The old covenant and new covenant, which the Israelite these Edomites and these Christians don't want to talk about the covenants because it clearly says the new covenant is with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. That's all over the scriptures, man. It's in the Old Testament as well as the New, right? And the giving of the law. We all know that no nation was given the laws, and the service of the Most High. You can't serve the Lord unless you're an Israelite. You ain't in the truth. You ain't no preacher. You ain't no prophet. You ain't none of that unless you are an Israelite. And the promises, all the promises of the kingdom of heaven, everything was given to the Israelites, whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, the anointed came, who was overall the Most High, blessed forever. Amen. Now, when it says as concerning the flesh, it ain't talking about skin color. It's talking about your flesh as being Israelites, regardless of how you look. See that they put that in there to throw people off. To me, yeah, it's wrong. God ain't dealing with skin color. Well, who said that he was? But for the fact we have to put a label on you, so-called, hey, these people over here are the one that put the labels on us as black, them as white, all these different things. We just the Israelites. No matter what we look like, we just the Israelites, man. You see? So it's all there contained. And let's just deal with that adoption real quick. Galatians 4. I always have to go there. This is Galatians chapter 4, verse 4. But when the fullness of time was come, the Most High sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law. Who is that? That we might receive the adoption of sons. There you go. You can't be adopted into this unless you were one of those that was given the laws. And that's only the Israelites. That's all it's talking about. And the whole book of Galatians was written to Israelites scattered among the Galatians. Look at this. This is Acts 16 and 6. Let me just open it up. Salakia, brothers. Let's start at verse 1. It says, Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there, named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess and believed, but his father was a Greek. What's being said right here? His mother was, a Jewess. His father was a Greek, but what kind of Greek was it? He was an Israelite, living among the Greeks. We know that. Raised among the Greeks. That's all it means. Now, I want to look at it. I don't know what it says here, but we know that for a fact. He was a Greek. Let's see what word it gives. Because, Esau, he'll throw some shit in there on you now. So you have to be careful with the blue letter because they move stuff around, change the meaning of words.
Strong's G 1672, Helene. Helene.
Yeah, see? They throw that in there on you. A Greek, because Paul was what? Paul was an Israelite. Now it says a Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies, right? Which it just was, lived there. See, it says in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews, but made the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks their own. Now let's see here what it says. Now let's show you something. Come back to that. Show you how to be going off. Let's see here, man. Damn. Yeah. This is Acts chapter 11 and verse 19. It says, now when they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen, traveled as far as Phoenix and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only. You got to understand that, right? None but to the Jews only. And some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene, which when they were come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians, preaching the Lord Yahweh Shai. See that? So when they speaking to these Grecians were Israelites, because it just told you at the top, when they were scattered, they preached none to but to the Jews only. And some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene. Cyrene is where? That's in Libya, North Africa. See, and some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene, which when they were come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians, preaching the Lord Yahweh Shai. If you look at this word Grecians, see, a lot of time when you look up words over here in the blue letter, you have to be careful because Esau do that tricky shit on you, man. Now, sometimes they do tell the truth, but other times they try to throw you off, just like that with dealing with Timothy's father, because they don't understand. It says right here.
Strong's G 1675. Hellenistes. Hellenistes.
A Hellenist, one who imitates the manners and customs of the worship of the Greeks and use the Greek tongue, using the New Testament of Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. Why do they never bring this out? Why don't they ever bring out that demographic of it? A Grecian. See? Now I want to go back to Acts 16. They never bring that demographic, that part of it out. And when you go into that book of Acts chapter 2, it names all these different Israelites from these different nations that was scattered among these different nations. This is Acts 16, going back to verse 2, it said, which was well reported of by the brethren that were at Lystra and Iconium. See, what brethren? Israelites. Him would Paul have to go forth with him and took and circumcised him because of the Jews which were in those quarters, for they knew all that his father was a Greek. Why did he get circumcised? Why? Because by seed, if this Greek man was an Edomite, why would his son be getting circumcised? That's our covenant, because he was an Israelite. And as they went through the cities, they delivered them the decrees for to keep that were ordained of the apostles and elders which were at Jerusalem. And so were the churches established in the faith and increased in number daily. Now, when they had gone throughout Phrygia and the region of Galatia, why were they in Galatia? For the Galatians. I mean, why did they go through Galatia? Because you had Israelites there being called Galatians, but they were Israelites and were forbidden of the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia. And it's all just very simple as that. Now I see Apostle Gabar on the comment board. I want to go here. Let's go to Acts chapter 2. And we were just going through that. Elder Apostle Gabar, Daily Edification 4. Can the wacky-tacky Christians explain why Apostle Paul said he was an Israelite, but also said he was a Roman and he spoke Greek? If you try to get them to explain it, they'll damn near have a meltdown, man. They can't keep it. They saying we're the ones that leaving things out. No, you're leaving things out. We telling you exactly how it is. You know, we telling you exactly how things are. Now, when you go into the book of Acts 2, we're just going to go right to the point. We're going to start at verse 5. It says, there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. That's a key. And I read this scripture to Christians before, and they try to act as if this is not saying what it's saying. See? Now, when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And that's really what speaking in tongues is. And they were amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Now, verse 5 said, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Why? Because they're part of the diaspora. These are the Gentiles spoken of, Parthians and Medes and Elamites, and the dwellers in Mesopotamia and in Judea and Cappadocia, in Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene. What do you know about Cyrene? The man known as Simon of Cyrene was pulled out of the crowd to help Yahushua carry his cross, to carry that burden, right? That man was an Israelite. It wasn't just no Cyrenian. It wasn't no Hamite, because Libya is in Africa, so-called Africa. It's in the land of Ham. And you had Israelites all in there too, just like you had Israelites left back in Egypt and different other places. And in the parts of Libya about Cyrene and the strangers of Rome. The Roman centurion would have been one of those strangers in Rome, just like the book of Romans was written to them. Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians. We do hear them speak in our tongues, the wonderful works of the Most High. You got to be able to grasp that and understand it. And as a matter of fact, in the second coming of the Lord, he's going to pull people from those same places. A lot of those places, this is the scattering, the dispersion of Israelites. That's who the Gentiles are. These people keep making, well, we have to go through this stuff every spring and summer with these damn Christians because that's the only time they really, really deal. Now it says here the restored remnant, Isaiah 11:11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. There are many scriptures that tell you who the Most High's people are. Psalms, right? Joel 3:16. You can go to Luke 1:68, read on down. Matthew 1:21. All over the scriptures. Which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Israelites, all these people are Israelites, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations. Excuse me. And shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. That's a major scripture right there. Now, I was watching the brothers from Vegas earlier, and they went into this scripture and they brought up the other translations of it, and I was like, man, that's fire, because I had never read those other translations. John 7:35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? We know what it means, but even Esau knows what it means too. But they try to, now a lot of the Christians don't know, but we know. Salakia, brothers. Damn, can't get it to work. Read these other translation here. Is one of them. Let's see which one it is. Yeah, the NLT. The Jewish leaders were puzzled by this statement. Where is he planning to go? They asked. Is he thinking of leaving the country and going to the Jews in other lands? Maybe he would even teach the Greeks, which were the Jews in the other lands. That's it. Going to the Jews in the other lands. It's awesome. Awesome, man. Yeah, look at this one. The New King James Version. Then the Jews said among themselves, where does he intend to go that we should not find him? Does he intend to go to the dispersion among the Greeks and teach the Greeks? Because part of the dispersion are known as what? Grecians. And you may say Greeks. Esau gonna try to mess with the words and get you off, but you have to understand that ain't no Edomites being written about in the word, not like that. You ain't got no book in the Bible you an Edomite. That's why Esau tried to say that Obadiah was an Edomite, which is stupid. It's just stupid. Let's see here, brothers. And y'all see y'all got a lot of great scriptures, but I'm really just trying to hit the point. I'm trying to see why this ain't coming up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is Jim S. Vegas. Sit downs, John 11:51. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of the Most High, which was scattered abroad. If you go to that word scattered, it's going to say diaspora. It's talking about Israelites. And that's who the Gentiles are. Elder Apostle Gabar says, if the Lord accepted everyone with the doctrine he taught in Jerusalem, even the Roman officials in Rome, why the hell would they put him on a cross? It's all over the place. Woo. Now, let's go back to Mr. Naked Face. I'm going to let it play out the rest of the way. And then you're going to deal with the grafted in, and we'll be done. We're just going to touch on that real briefly because I didn't want to make this. And whenever you deal with these Christians, you really have to damn near go into all the scriptures, which it turns into long, 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 exhaustive lessons. But we want to just deal with a few things. I want to deal with the Roman issue. That was one. And I also want to deal with that grafted in because he comes with that at the end, showing you that he was going off again. So we'll go back and just play it. Check it out, brothers.
God bless you guys. Real quick word from Matthew chapter 8, verses 8 through 12. And I'm going to show you guys how the black Hebrew Israelites, they don't misinterpret the Bible. They purposely leave things out to fit their narrative. They have a narrative. And so anything in the Bible that doesn't fit their narrative, they purposely leave that out. Peter said they twist the Bible, they twist the scriptures to their own destruction. You know, we should pray for these people because God is going to deal with them for messing with his word and taking away and adding to his word. Matthew chapter 8, verses 8 through 12. This is the centurion servant being healed, and he told Jesus said, I will come to your house. And this is what the centurion said to Jesus. In verse 8, he says, the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled. Now, this centurion, this is a Roman centurion. Jesus marveled, verse 10, and said to them that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. So when in Matthew chapter 15, when Jesus says that he's come to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, that's true. He came to them. He was their Messiah. But John 1:12 says he came to his own, and his own received him not. But to as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them which believe on his name, which were born, verse 13, which were born not of blood. It's not about skin. It's not about your physical lineage. It's not about what tribe you come from.
See, like we said before, he basically put that in there because it is dealing with lineage, but it ain't dealing with the outward appearance of a person. He doesn't get that though. Now, as we said, dealing with John, was it 2 John 1 and 11? We put up the link for Elder Apostle Gabar's video, which he went into that, which this guy said we don't deal with those topics, which he was lying. We didn't leave that out. We've done videos on that, and I showed you several other brothers that did videos on it. I myself being one of them.
Not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. It's about being born again. Anybody who is born again can be born again, who receives Jesus Christ as their Savior, will be accepted into the kingdom. Now watch what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 8, that you won't hear him read this. They'll leave this out. He says, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Verse 11, watch what Jesus says. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. He's talking about many different nations.
And again, they want you to not deal with the diaspora. That's what it's speaking of. Many shall come from the east, the west, the north, the south, right? Matter of fact, I'm sorry. I got to get a quick scripture right here. Yep. I gave the link to your video, Elder Apostle. He says, his own received not means his family, his town folk did not accept him as the salvation of the nation of Israel. You can't get them to get that. They too, there they go. All nations can be saved. Even if you thought all nations can be saved, guess what? Esau can't be saved. We know that. Let's go to, I'm going to read two scriptures here. And maybe I get some more of the brothers. Let's get Deuteronomy. This is why they don't want us to read the curses. Many shall come from the east and the west, right? And all of that, and sit in the kingdom of heaven. This is Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even until the other. Now we read in Acts 2 and 5, they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. They're going to come from everywhere. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even until the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So we're going to be scattered everywhere. And as a matter of fact, go to Luke 21. We get it? Fuck you. Even the Lord spoke on the Israelites being scattered. Luke 21 and 23. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people, the Israelites. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. Why they don't ever talk? They always talk about Jesus. Why they don't ever read this? And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now that is the other nations. Until the times of these kingdoms will fall. That's when the Israelites will come home. This is Isaiah 43. And Elder Apostle Bar got a couple comments here. So Yahushua had two biological brothers that did not accept him, Simon and Joses. Absolutely. And he even said a prophet is not received. You know, I don't know. If a brother knows the scripture, you can put it up. I don't want to misquote it. In King Israel, the brother told you, you guys got to stop with that APTTMH. You can't even get to the Most High without Yahushua. Stop, just, I don't get it. I don't get it. The people in the synagogue where he read Isaiah 61 did not accept him. Luke 4:22, and all bear him witness and wondered at the gracious words which proceeded out of his mouth. And they said, is not this Joseph's son? And he said, verily I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. That's excellent. No prophet is accepted in his own country. But there was another quoting of it. A prophet is not received. I forget exactly how I said, but a brother will put it up and we'll read it. So dealing with the many shall come from the north and the south and the east and the west and all that, right? Yeah, that's fire. Brother just put it up. Back in Luke 4:28. Let's go back to 22. And all bear him witness and wondered at the gracious words which proceeded out of his mouth. And they said, is not this Joseph's son? Verse 24, and he said, verily I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. And all they in the synagogue, when they heard these things, were filled with wrath. See? We teaching if you just pipe down and just listen. You know, the lesson is going on now. This is Jim S. Vegas sit downs, Mark 6:3. Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph and of Judah and Simon? Are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. But Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country and among his own kin and in his own house. He came into his own received him not. We deal with that all the time. See? Matthew 13:57, Brother Chayal, and they were offended in him because Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. Too easy. Too easy. Now, just hold on here, brothers. Okay, so let's read this. Isaiah 43, dealing with the north, the south, and all that, what the guy said. This is Isaiah 43:1. But now thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. Are you hearing it? For I am the Lord thy power, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Saba for thee. Since thou was precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee and people for thy life. Fear not, for I am with thee. I'll bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. That's who it is. Many shall come and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Many will come, let's see here. I'll go on it. I'm typing. I can't even get it to come up. Doggone it. Luke 13:29. And they shall come from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south and shall sit down in the kingdom of the Most High. Israelites from all nations. That's who it's talking about. When it said the children of the kingdom shall be cast out, it just meant just the same as we've been talking about. The Israelites in the Holy Land, yeah, they rejected the Messiah, but you still had those that still followed him. It didn't mean every Israelite. Every Israelite wasn't cast out of the Lord. See it? And even in this, he was talking about false prophets and those that strive to enter in at the straight gate. See, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth when you shall see Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets. Who were the prophets? They were Israelites in the kingdom of the Most High, and you yourselves thrust out. And they shall come from the east and from the west and from the north and from the south and shall sit down in the kingdom of the Most High. That's something that they don't get. And brothers put them scriptures up in the beginning, going into Baruch and James, Matthew 8 and 11, which I think that's what he was reading. Yeah, he was reading Matthew 8, which that centurion was an Israelite. He getting stumped because it says right here, when Yahushua heard it, Matthew 8 and 10, he marveled and said unto them that followed, verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. He didn't mean among all, like this guy wasn't an Israelite, but he said, man, you Edomites, you really do believe in me. I ain't found no greater faith, not even all among the Israelites. He just meant among those, that he was sent to at that time. But a centurion was an Israelite. We know that. Just like you had Cornelius of the Italian band, he was an Israelite. What's the Italian band? See, that's a Roman. And I say unto you, if you in the Italian band, should I say, you was the Roman military. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. Absolutely. It says, but the children of the kingdom shall be cast into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The same thing. Those, and you got 2/3 Israelites. They're gonna be cast out in the outer darkness. They're gonna be destroyed, but they're gonna come back in the kingdom. And we're gonna finish that off in Romans 11 because it also goes to confirm that salvation is just for the Israelites. That's all it's for. Now, just hold on, brothers. I'm trying to see this here on the comment board. A lot of great scriptures. If we read all these, we'll be all night. So, but I appreciate you brothers putting them up. It's good edification for those that watch the stream afterwards and they access the chat. They can read all these. So let's finish. Let's finish listening to this.
He's not talking about the lost tribes of Israel. He's talking about many different nations. And watch what's going to happen to the children.
Let's go back a little bit.
Come from the east and the west and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. He's talking about many different nations. He's not talking about the lost tribes of Israel. He's talking about many different nations. And why?
I'm sorry. Hold on right here. Because even this came up dealing with the when the Boston brothers was dealing with these Christians. They love to try to read Revelation 7 and 9. Let's go there. because this also is going to prove it. And you can even really, you can just cut to the chase and just go to the second coming when the Lord literally delivers the people. What people is he going to deliver? He's going to deliver the elect, and the elect only come from the house of Israel. That's it. This is Revelation 7 and 9, a multitude from the tribulation. Now, up here, pursuant to this guy, he said Israel was cut off. He said that the Gentiles are going to be the ones to get the kingdom. But here you go. You got 144,000 clearly from all the tribes of the children of Israel, right? Revelation 7 and 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. And it goes through the 12 tribes right now. This great multitude, as we always say, what kind of sense does it make for the Most High only to deliver 144,000 of his people, but then turn around and deliver all these other damn nations, that you can't even count? These two were Israelites. Matter of fact, you read 2nd Ezra chapter 2, it reveals that these are Israelites. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Now, the Boston brothers went into the word people, and it said of the same genus and group. If you go to the word, let's see right here, kindreds. Look at this. Of all kindreds, for goodness sake. But see, Christians won't stay still long enough for you to get into the scriptures. They want to just, like they say we do, they do it. They cherry pick.
Strong's G 5443. Foulé. Foulé.
Right. The word is foulé, right? When you go here, it says a tribe. In the New Testament, all the persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob, a nation, people. So that's who it is. It's Israelites. And when you read, let's go back to it, if we can. When you read Revelation 7 and 9, the great multitude is also Israelites. That's who it is. When you go to Revelation 5 and 9, it's slightly different. It's written slightly different. Let's read it. Revelation 5 and 9. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. Who is this? This is all Israelites right here. Who gonna be the kings and priests? If you go to Isaiah, I think it's 61. Let's see if it is. Isaiah 61. Yeah. Isaiah 61. At the top, it does talk about this being to appoint, verse 3, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. So this is Israelites. In verse 6, it says, But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. See that? You shall be kings and priests. It's talking about Israelites. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. You shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory you shall boast yourselves. It's all kind of different precepts that just break that completely down. This dude just doesn't understand. He's not able. He's not able to receive that. Let's get some off the comment board here before we go back to Naked Face to let him finish off. And we're going to deal with the little grafted in real quick. I just did a word search on grafted in the scriptures, and it's only found in one chapter. So we're going to read some of that, showing you that he doesn't understand that. So if he would apply wisdom and watch the videos to learn instead of trying to find something to come against, he might could get it. Daily edification 4. You had two Israels back then: the Jews who knew they were Israelites, and the Israelite foreigners who did not know they were Israelites. And they had great faith, which in some cases surpassed the Jews. Boom. See? Isaiah 65 verse 1. I am sought of them that asked not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me unto a nation that was not called by my name. This is, hey, the thing that we see over and over is that the Most High just have to give you this, you have to have the Spirit in order to be able to see it. And that's all it is. He just doesn't have the Spirit. It's laid out plainly in the scriptures, and brothers is putting up what we just read through the Spirit. That's the Spirit doing that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Jim S. Vegas, sit down. Second Esdras 2:42. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number. That's an innumerable multitude, and they all praise the Lord with songs. Now, in Revelation 14, it says, no man might learn that song, right? But who? They had to be Israelites. Daily edification 4. How can all the nations be delivered when Jeremiah prophesied that every last one of them that are not Israelites shall go into captivity? Yep. It's in Jeremiah 25 is another one. It names them by name. Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Absolutely. And when you try to read that to them, they'll start, what about this? Well, what about that? The scriptures have to coexist. One doesn't cancel out another. The Bible does not contradict itself. All nations can't be saved, and then all of them going into captivity too. And it's even in Revelation, what is it, chapter 2 and 3? I will give power over the nations, and you're going to break them with a rod of iron. All that's there is all written. This guy won't, I'm anxious to see how some of these Christians going to deal with it, because they're going to roll up trying to talk about, Ephesians 2, which they don't even understand that.
Watch what's going to happen to the children of the kingdom. See, the black Hebrew Israelites, they won't talk about this verse where it specifically says that the children of the kingdom, the Jews, the 12 tribes, he says this in verse 12. He says, but the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Why won't the children of the kingdom make it in? Because they rejected their Messiah. Paul says, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power of God and salvation to the Jew first, and then to the Gentile.
Now, he clearly said that the reason the Jews won't make it in, he said that, which is ridiculous.
To the Jew first, because he came to them. He was their Messiah. That's why he says, I am sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And Jesus and the woman said, that's true, Lord, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table, meaning that whatever the Jews didn't want, the Gentiles were grafted in by faith. And so what the black Hebrew Israelites do, they don't misinterpret the scripture. They purposely leave out scriptures. It clearly says that the children of the kingdom shall be thrust out. This kingdom is going to be given to another, and those people are the Gentiles who are not Jews. And so what they do is they twist the Bible because they have a political agenda. Much like the KKK, they have a political agenda, and they make the Bible say what they wanted to say. They preach skin color, and they preach hate, and they preach dominance. And so the children of the kingdom will be thrust out because of their lack of faith, but the Gentiles who believe in Jesus Christ will be grafted into the kingdom. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful
day. Yeah. He lies to you, then tells you bless you. What a demon. What a real demon. Freddie Jackson looking nigga. You heard him. You heard all of his damnable heresies. Let's deal with the grafted in. So when I did a word search, just wanted to see if it came up anywhere else to isolate it so that they can't say it's talking about, because Christians will say shit like that. Oh, that's a different grafted in. That's a different gospel. The gospel of the kingdom is different than the gospel that Paul taught. Shut up, liars. So you can see the word grafted in only comes up in Romans chapter 11. Let's go to it and read some of it just to show you that they don't understand it. Just simple words and phrases they don't get. Now, it started out at the top. We read it already. Romans 11:1. It says, Israel is not cast away. What the hell is this guy talking about? I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people? Yahweh forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. That would mean, by what he's saying, if Israelites will all cast away, that means Paul ain't gonna make it. And he's the one reading this. We read verse 5. Even so, then at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. See it? Verse 7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So the Most High always had a remnant. And he's got remnants scattered among the nations, man. Scattered among the nations. And he's going to save. The 2/3 gonna be cut off and destroyed. They're gonna die, but the remnant is gonna make it in. The whole 1/3, the 144,000, and the rest of the 1/3 is going to make up an innumerable multitude from all over the different nations, all of the different all over the world. Now the 2/3 is gonna be here in America, Babylon the Great, right? Some of the remnant gonna come from Babylon the Great, but then you're gonna have others that's also brought in from the other nations, all over the earth, man. Now Romans 11:7. Let's see here. We'll start at verse. No, I don't want to have to read all this. I'll start at verse 11, I guess. It says, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? The Most High forbid, for rather through their fall, salvation is coming to the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy. Now, when I think it's in the book of Acts, you can get that jealousy. Let's see here. Filled with indignation. Filled with envy. Acts 13. See, the Israelites from the Holy Land, they was getting jealous because of the Israelite foreigners was being brought in. It ain't talking about the other nations. Acts 13:44. And when the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of the Most High. Now go back to Acts chapter 2. There were dwelling in Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. These were those Gentiles. But when the Jews saw the multitudes, they were filled with envy. What's another word for envy? Jealousy. And spake against those things which were spoken by Paul, contradicting and blaspheming. Then Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said it was necessary that the word of the Most High should first have been spoken to you. But seeing ye put it from you and judge yourselves unworthy of everlasting life, lo, we turn to the Gentiles, Israelite foreigners. For so so hath the Lord commanded us, saying, I have set thee to be a light of the Gentiles, that thou shouldest be for salvation unto the ends of the earth. Why does it say that? Because the Israelites are scattered into the ends of the earth, all over the earth. And that's in what? This is Isaiah. I can't remember the exact chapter, but it's in Isaiah. I set thee for a light of the Gentiles to the ends of the earth. Matter of fact, you go to Romans 10, it talks about there's no speech, no language where their voice is not heard. Another one says their words are heard to the ends of the earth or the ends of the world. All over every different nation. There's no speech, no language where their voice is not heard. That's talking about to the Israelites in the other parts of the world. And when the Gentiles heard this, they were glad and glorified the word of the Lord. And as many as were ordained to eternal life believe. Who were ordained to eternal life? Who gonna be the only immortals? The Israelites. You could go to many scriptures to explain all that. See? So these Gentiles here were Israelites. It's plain to us, but it's stumbling blocks into, these Christians. Let's move on. Now I want to hit the comment board real quick. Yeah, that dude, he said that. Oh, excuse me. Salakia, brothers. The KKK, really? Yeah, he said that. He literally said that. That's right, brother. The brother KDC said it. We never hung nobody. Never firebombed no houses. Put on sheets in the middle of the night, go out there and, try to hang people, lynch them, harm individuals. Hell no. What cross and on what lawn did we burn it? That knucklehead is set up. And but the thing is, it's almost like they must be offering checks to these people because this dude ain't got no real following. He just popped up out of nowhere. Head shaped like a milk dud with no understanding. Yep, that's him. Let me just briefly, we'll go back to it after we read this. I'm going to show you that guy's page because he go on the street and try to teach. That's it, brother. Malachi, Obadiah, Isaiah 49:6. I don't know. He must have put it in the middle of the verse, right? Anyway, let's read more of this because it's going to give you all the keys that you need in this chapter. And we may have to get a couple of precepts here and there, but we're going to just read through it. Now it says here, Yeah. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yahweh forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is coming unto the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy. And that's talking about the Israelites scattered all over the earth. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them be the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness? For I speak to you Gentiles, and as much as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office. It was Paul's, it was his call to go to the different Israelites scattered. That's why he did all that traveling. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, the cosmos, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. Who's the only people known as the holy people? Come on, man. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off that I might be grafted in. What are these branches? Who are the branches? Let's go to it. Jeremiah, it's 11, I believe. Brothers. Jeremiah chapter 11 and verse, I'll start at 11. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Salakia, let's go to verse 10. I'll start at verse 9. And the Lord said unto me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. This is the 12 tribes. They are turned back to the iniquities of their fathers, which refused to hear my words. And they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Then shall the cities of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem go and cry unto the gods unto whom they offer incense, but they shall not save them at all in the time of their trouble. You see what the Lord is saying here? For according to the number of thy cities were thy gods, O Judah, and according to the number of the streets of Jerusalem have they set up altars to that shameful thing, even altars to burn incense unto Baal. Therefore pray not thou for this people, neither lift up a cry or prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry unto me for their trouble. Okay, so the Lord said, don't even pray for them. What hath my beloved to do in mine house, seeing she hath wrought lewdness with many, and the holy flesh is passed from thee? When thou doest evil, then thou rejoicest. Now we get into the branches. The Lord called thy name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit. And with the noise of a great tumult, he hath kindled fire upon it, and the branches of it are broken. These are the branches. For the Lord of hosts that planted thee hath pronounced evil against thee, for the evil of the house of Israel and of the house of Judah, which they have done against themselves to provoke me to anger, and offering incense unto Baal or Baal, however you want to say it, right? If we go back to Romans 11, you know who the branches are. They're identified. And it even tells you in the scripture, in this chapter, when you read it close and you note the words and how it's written, right? The branches were broken. Romans 11:17, and if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches, But if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in. Israelites would say this. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off. Didn't we just read that? Because of the unbelief, they were broken off. And standest by faith, be not high-minded, but fear. For if the Most High spare not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not thee. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of the Most High on them which fail severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou also shalt be cut off. Right? Your circumcision can be made uncircumcision. And they also, if they abide still, not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. Listen, for the Most High is able to graft them in again. What? Again. How do you go somewhere again for the first time? You don't. How do you get grafted in again and you never been there to begin with? You don't. It's not dealing with the other nations. It's dealing with the Israelites. Those being grafted in are the Gentiles, Israelite foreigners. For if thou were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted in into their own olive tree? How's it their own olive tree? It's dealing with other nations. It's not. It's Israelites. Both of the trees, the olive tree and the wild olive tree, are both Israelites. The wild olive tree is grafted into the olive tree because it's their own olive tree. It's too damn easy. For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, that ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part has happened to Israel, and to the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. That's Israelites. Listen. And so, when it says and so, it's referring to this. And so all Israel shall be saved. The olive tree and the wild olive tree. And so all Israel shall. Why would it go talk about other nations up here, then just go right here, just start back talking about Jacob again? These people don't understand how to read. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, right? Yahweh Shai. Yah means he. Yahweh Shai, deliverer. He deliverer. He is the deliverer. There shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Well, where's other nations mentioned? He ain't gonna turn away ungodliness from them. He's not even talking about them. It's only talking about Jacob. And shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob, for this is my covenant unto them. He's speaking of the second covenant, when I shall take away their sins. If the other nations were part of this covenant, surely they would be mentioned here, and they are not. You stupid Christians. You are stupid. For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. It's the only people's sins that even mentioned. Israelites. This nigga steady talking about some grafted in, and he doesn't even understand what's written. And that's it. And and I expect, if the spirit allows it, that other brothers will take the video and they will do lessons on this guy too, because you had several brothers that did them already. But this dude need to be got on. And we're on his comment board, by the way. Let's go there. We on this guy's comment board. And he didn't answer our questions. He didn't answer Elder Yashawama question. I believe I asked him 2 questions. He didn't answer either of mine. Just wanted to see what he was going to say. Right here. We go to Elder Yashawama's first. You got different brothers on there. There's one brother, God hates Esau, said, no beard for Jeepers. And this is his wife on there with him right here. This one brother, Bean Re1, poor smooth-faced so-called pastor. He cut his own self and didn't even know it. LOL, this is why the real men are leaving the church. JDW 616. Indeed, the true Hebrews are still scattered. They have a lot of knowledge. I don't know what Jake doing. Now, Elder Yashawama Remnant Save says, it's interesting. None of you have dared to question the authority of the people who have called themselves Jews for years, even though they believe in the Talmud and don't add up with Bible prophecy of how the true Israelites will return to the land. I will respond to this. And GMS LV Sound Council, one of the brothers from the Las Vegas camp, said, chosenness is good for the people that call themselves Jews. Muslims are the sons of Abraham. Wasn't a problem until we tried to shoe on to see if we fit. So this one scripture negates every other scripture we use to proclaim us to be the children of Israel. Problem with most people is we do fit as the children of Israel, Negro, Latino, natives. You can see there's no answer coming back from this guy. Now, I asked him, I said, I have a question. So according to what you read in your breakdown, Wouldn't that mean that the Jewish people are not the chosen of God? Why do you support them being in the Holy Land? You said Israel was thrust out. And he did say that. I'm asking him based upon his logic. And I put up 1 Peter 3:15. But sanctify the Lord power in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. And as you can see, this was 2 days ago. No reply. And it ain't like he that busy, because this video ain't even get 229 hits. He don't have that many subscribers. 1.95K. He ain't that busy. Why you ain't answer back? I said right here, you bear false witness and contradicted yourself several times, Pastor Ron. You said we preach skin color. That's a lie. John 7:24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Now that scripture is not dealing with skin color, but it does stand true that you're not supposed to judge according to appearance. You have to try the spirit of a man. James 1:1. James is servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. And I asked him, wouldn't it stand to reason if the Israelites were scattered among all nations? Would they not look like those nations? Also, we have members that are so-called white, Latino, Native American, etc. He ain't going to say nothing back because he doesn't have anything to say. Now, when you go to his page, you'll find, just hold on here. Let's go to his videos. Come on, man. This thing back. Acting up. Okay, here we go. Notice he got a lot of these shorts. That's how Christians like to do little quick videos. Right? But what I also noticed, he got some street, got himself street preaching. See, he out there in Philadelphia. It says street preaching in Philly, Frankfurt section of the city. He out there, little 20 minutes. How the hell you gonna reach somebody in 20 minutes, man? He got another short. Let's just click on one of them and see. Luke 19:10.
Let me pray for you, brother. I love you, man. Love you. Father, in the name of Jesus, touch my brother. He sat here and he listened to your word. He defended your word, Lord. Open up his heart and his mind, Lord. Deliver him from anything. Let me pray for you, brother.
You see, he got his head covered the whole time. He got on a hoodie and a damn toboggan.
Jesus, touch my brother. He sat here and he listened to your word.
He don't know what's going on, man. Yeah, he got a mic. Yep. So he got some videos, but the dude, you can clearly see this dude is just he's a new guy. I think this page is probably 4 years old, but he don't know what's going on, man. Just a naked face, nobody. And he be wearing hats while he trying to teach too. See, that's another thing. But he basically said that the law, Christians are not under the law. Meaning you don't have to keep the laws. I would love to question him and see what the hell he get that logic from. But whatever. That's going to be pretty much it, brothers. We ain't going to, it is what it is. I put the link up to the video several times. So if brother want to go there, attack, whatever the spirit give you to bring out about it. And, if not, it's all good. So let's see here. We'll close out. This is GMS in the Truth, Orlando. Jeremiah 2:21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And that's Jake. You degenerate, a strange vine. But all them if you go to John 15, it says what? That you got to be connected. Let's go there and read it. I don't want to mess it up. We'll close out with that as a matter of fact. Go to John chapter 15. John 15, verse 1. It says, Yahushua is the vine, followers are branches, right? Put that red letter in there. Verse 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. And these branches, we know that they're Israelites. It ain't no followers. Israelites. I am the vine, ye are the branches. Did we not read it in Jeremiah? Who the branches were? He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. So you're going to be destroyed. When the missiles hit, all those withered branches, those, branches broken off, they're going to be destroyed, man. Period. Yep. Brother Howard Shah Zion said, Kun, why do they pay the small hats 10 to 20 billion a year? That's just what they do. They're not the Israelites. They ain't in the scriptures nowhere. Jake would be, looked down upon the nation, not lifted up. It wouldn't be being defended. Israel was not going to have a military and nuclear weapons and them. I was going to say the fighter jets. What is it? F-22s. I was going to say A-22. F-22s, I believe, is what they call. So that's it, brothers. We're going to go ahead and shut it down. This is Shalom Israel 777, Matthew 5:17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. And we can read different various scriptures like that, just killing these Christians always, man. But I enjoyed doing the lesson. It could have easily went on much longer than this, man. We already approaching an hour and 52 minutes. And I didn't even go into most of his madness that he said. So there's still a lot of meat left on that bone. If anybody want to, get on the guy. Anyway, the water, everybody, for joining. All right, for all the scriptures, for the support. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. This has been a response to Hebrew Israelites purposely leave out verses. Hashtag Pastor Ron Wright. We'll see you again soon with another lesson, Lord willing. All right. Shalom, the water. Shalom.